Today I'm going to ask you some questions about your life and your life lessons or principles that you've had, and also some questions about modern politics because of how much commotion is starting at the moment. Okay, so my first question is, what would you say are the most important lessons you feel you've learned over the course of your life?
Well, there's a couple of them, but I think primarily, I've learned that you got to stop and think before you speak. No matter what your emotions you're feeling, you got to stop and think about it, okay? Because you can cause an awful lot of damage.
Yes.
Because once those words are out of your mouth, they're out there for good.
Yes.
You can never put the toothpaste back into the tube.
Yeah.
Okay?
Good analogy.
So that's probably a good life lesson.
Awesome. Okay. Now, some people say they've had difficult or stressful experiences, but they've turned those into important lessons. Would you say that's true for you? And if it is, could you give examples of what you learned?
Well, I'll just give you a little quick background. I was a high school dropout junior year, and ultimately ended up going into the service.
Okay.
I met my wife. I was 26 years old, 28 years old, and I had 5 kids all of a sudden. It happened quickly. And no real means of supporting them, okay, because of my lack of education. So we decided, my wife and I both, that I would go to college.
Okay.
I was able to go on the GI Bill, so I got some help from them, but I had to work full-time nights at Bethlehem Steel.
Okay.
Midnight shift, and then I went to Canisius full-time days.
Okay.
So what I learned is there isn't anything you can't do if you're motivated enough.
Okay.
And if you're not motivated, there's nothing you can do.
And for you, your motivation was your kids?
My kids, my family, the need to be a father and husband.
Okay. As you look back over your life, obviously that might be one of them, but do you see any turning points, like a key event that changed over the course of your life to set you on a different track?
Yeah, I think in conjunction with that is in 1964, I had double hernia. I had gone for a job, and they found I had a double hernia that had to be repaired prior to being able to start on the job. While I was in the hospital, Johnson passed the addition of non-Korean vets in the Veterans Education Program. Okay. Extended the GI Bill, actually. So a friend of mine who, my best friend still till today, we're friends over 60 years. I had been saying to him for a long time that I would like to go to college, but I couldn't afford to.
Okay.
He came in and he threw the newspaper on my bed in the hospital, and it said Johnson extends GI Bill to non-Korean vets.
Awesome.
And he said, now if you don't go to college, it's because you don't want to.
Wow.
And that was a turning point.
Yeah, I bet.
Almost directly from the hospital, I went down and I applied at Canisius.
That's awesome.
Took the exams. And
cool.
Yeah, that was a turning point.
Yeah. Okay, now this is, you probably maybe expected this. What is the secret to a happy marriage?
Happy wife, happy life.
That's a good one.
And it's a part, listen, they say marriage is 50-50. No, it's 100% and 100%. Each of you have to give 100% in order to make it work.
Okay. What would you say you know about living a happy and successful life that you didn't know when you were 20?
When I was 20, I guess the best way to put it is that I was a very rebellious person. Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go along to get along.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I think one of the things that I learned is that you have to be more amenable. Okay. You have to be able to move with the times. You have to go with the flow sometimes. Okay. That doesn't mean you compromise your convictions. Okay. Your principles, but there are times when it's not that important, that you need to just go along and not always be buttoned up against authority.
Okay. look back, what would you say is one of your most important decisions that you ever made that still affects you today?
Well, my choice to marry my wife, of course. That was
That's
probably, and it's the truth. It's probably
Yeah.
the most significant
Significant change?
choice that I made.
Okay. What would you say are the most major values or principles that you live by today?
Honesty, integrity. Those are probably the best.
Okay.
Do unto others. Okay, that's the golden rule. Is a very strong principle that we both abide by.
Okay.
I would
Awesome.
say that's probably true.
All right, now I'm going to move into some of the modern politics. Only two questions about it. So we're in the midst of probably the weirdest election ever. In seeing that, what are your opinions on the two major candidates, Trump and Clinton, and which of them do you think is the better choice?
Okay, I'm not happy with either one.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, it's going to be the lesser of two evils.
Yep.
Now that sounds kind of strange because we shouldn't have to make that kind of choice. It's kind of unfortunate that in a country of our size that these are the best we can put forward. However, in the end, my main concern is not the presidency; it's the Supreme Court.
Okay.
I believe that the Constitution should be strictly upheld. Okay, and we should look at what the framers' intention was on each of the points in the Constitution.
Okay.
I don't believe that Hillary Clinton would do that. I'm a strong believer. I'm pro-life.
Yeah.
Okay, very strongly pro-life. And from what I hear about Hillary Clinton and what she said herself, her own words, she believes in abortion at any time for any reason, including partial birth abortion. Okay, that would break my heart.
Yeah.
I think it would ruin the country if that ever was the case.
Yeah.
And I'm convinced that she was able to supply the Supreme Court or put people on the Supreme Court, that the liberal justices that she put on there would definitely open up abortion to far more people than it does right now.
Terrible. All right. Now, many people this year are choosing not to vote. Why do you think this is?
Well, they don't like the candidates. Okay, but I don't think that's. I think you have. One of the things that we're given in our Constitution is the right to vote, to make our choice, to let our voice be heard. Okay,
Yes.
and that's one of the few chances we get to do that on a national level.
Yeah.
And so I just think it's a wrong thing to try to say I'm just not going to vote at all.
Okay.
Plus, there's a lot of other implications. The biggest implication in not voting, not going to voting at all, is the Senate. Okay, again, because I'm concerned about the Supreme Court, the Senate has to approve any appointees to the Supreme Court. If we have a liberal Senate, a Democrat liberal Senate, then the chances are that a liberal person is, particularly if a liberal is the president.
Okay.
Okay, and I think it would certainly damage the court, and that's my philosophy.
Okay. My last question is going to be a lot less serious. If you ever, when you were younger, pulled a prank, what is your favorite prank that you ever pulled?
Oh my God. I was working at Roswell Park. I was in the administration there, and it was April 1st.
Okay.
I had my secretary call my wife and pretend to be calling from the lottery.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And she said to her, is Thomas there? And she says, no, he's at work. And so my secretary said, well, this is the New York State Lottery calling. He won $50,000 and is in the drawing for $1 million.
Wow.
And my wife says, oh, that's wonderful. She says, we were just buying a house. We were just buying our house on COVID. Just buying a house of furniture we could get stuff. So she says, however, if I don't speak to him in the next 10 minutes, I have to go on to the next person.
Oh, wow.
I'll get him right now and I'll call him, okay? She gets on the phone, she calls
My
me.
girlfriend worked in that office, my best friend.
So she calls me at the office and she says, Tom, you got to call the lottery right away. Is this right?
Yep.
Tom, you got to call the lottery right away. She said, you won money. And I said, Ro, stop, will you? And I said, she said, no, I'm serious. I said, Ro, come on, it's April 1st. You're pulling an April Fool prank on me, right? And she was so frustrated. It was like she was going crazy. She was just about in tears. No, you can't. I said, Ro, April Fool. She says, no, I'm serious. This is real. I said, Ro, April Fool. No, it's not. And then she stopped in the middle and she says, you dirty son of a and slammed the phone off. Okay. So I would say that's probably the best prank I ever pulled. My wife probably wouldn't describe it quite in that same fashion.
That's awesome. All right, that's all I
Nobody
have
would
for
talk
today.
to him at work.
Yeah, I bet. That's great, though.
I was
That is phenomenal.
persona non grata.
Yeah. All right. That's all I have for today.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Well, you're very welcome.